Hello friends, today we are understanding about the vitamin B12 oral absorption importance and deficiency. Absorption of vitamin B12 is an interesting topic. Let us start the absorption of vitamin B12 with the doing of the digestive system. It consists the duodenum, stomach and the esophagus and also the pancreas. The duodenum is further connected to the jejunum. Jejunum is further connected to the ileum. Ileum is connected to the large intestines, which we are not going to discuss much in this video. The other important parts of digestive system are salivary glands, parietal cells and chief cells. Chief cells and parietal cells. Chief cells produces the pepsinogen and parietal cells which produces the hydrochloric acid. The rich source of vitamin B12 are eggs, milk, fish and also the red meat. The red meat consists of protein and also the rich source of vitamin B12, which is also called as cyanocobalamin or methylcobalamin. The red meat which is taken from the mouth is partially digested in the mouth and travel through the esophagus into stomach. Salivary glands which produces the important substance called hapitocorine, which is also called as R protein and which is also called as transcobalamin 1. Please understand that R protein is also called as transcobalamin 1, which is also passes through the esophagus into the stomach along with the red meat. The pepsinogen from the chief cells interact with the hydrochloric acid and forms pepsin. The pepsin which breaks the red meat into two components, vitamin B12 and also the protein. The liberated vitamin B12 which is high efficient to collaborate with the R protein and forms the R vitamin B12 complex. The R vitamin B12 complex which travels along the duodenum into the small intestine. Here the important factor is the parenteral cells also produces the intrinsic factor, the important substance which also travels along the duodenum into the small intestine. The R vitamin B12 complex which is passing through the duodenum mixes with the proteinase which is secreted by the pancreas. The protease which break the R protein and frees the vitamin B12 from R vitamin B12 complex. The liberated vitamin B12 which then attaches to the intrinsic factor and forms the intrinsic factor vitamin B12 complex. The intrinsic factor vitamin B12 complex which passes to the jejunum into the ileum, where in the ileum when we take the transposition of the ileum, it gives the projection of ileum cells and also the portal vein, the blood vessel. The intrinsic factor vitamin B12 complex which attaches to the intrinsic factor receptor which is there on the ileal cells get absorbed into the portal vein into the blood plasma. In the portal vein plasma, the intrinsic factor of the vitamin B12 which attaches to the transcobalamin 2. Only 20% of vitamin B12 is attached to the transcobalamin 2. Remaining 80% is connected to the R vitamin B12 complex. Here the 20% of transcobalamin 2 vitamin B12 is going to be utilized by the body cells, whereas the R vitamin B12, that is 80%, which get excreted out from the body. So when the transcobalamin 2 vitamin B12, the 20% which is getting absorbed in the body, has an important role in DNA synthesis and RBC production and lipid synthesis, where it helps in the myelin sheet formation by lipid synthesis, which is good for our health and nervous system. And also the vitamin B12 in deficiency, on the vitamin B12 deficiency, which leads to anemia or fatigue, muscle weakness, tingling and burning sensation, on shortness of breath, and increased homocysteine levels.